Guys, it's the end of September, so you know what that means. It's new Percy Jackson time. I start off every Percy Jackson video with so much lore, but just specifically for this, okay, so this is, I guess, now book 7 in the Percy Jackson series. For anyone who doesn't know, Percy Jackson from 2005 to 2010 was a 5-book series, and it was complete, and it was amazing. And then Rick Riordan, the author, started writing a little spin-off series, all within the same universe, but mostly like involving like the same characters and just adding new ones, or like new characters that are sort of, I mean, like literally related to characters and other stuff, and just expanding the world. But then recently, last year, he wrote book 6 in the series, which is Chalice of the Gods, which I do own. I just don't have with me right now. It's in my room, like literally 2 feet away. But now, this year, it's been 1 year since Chalice of the Gods, which is crazy. And now he has written Wrath of the Triple Goddess, which is the now 7th book in the series, which is just amazing. And so it's September 24th, the day it came out. I've had it pre-ordered for months, and I'm going to do a little reveal of the actual cover, because this is just the dust jacket, but I already see that it's green, and I'm freaking out, because the Chalice of the Gods cover is kind of ugly. It's like bright yellow. That's so pretty. That's such a pretty color. Oh my god. Oh, 2. I don't know if this is book 7 or if this is book 2, brother. I guess this is sort of, I guess Rick has considered this a separate trilogy. Interesting. So yeah, I don't know, guys, but yeah. Okay, I'm so excited to read this. It seems like it's similar, if not a little bit longer, than Chalice of the Gods. Let me go get Chalice of the Gods, hold on. So this is Chalice. So, a little bit bigger, maybe? Yeah, maybe a little bigger. It's not significantly larger. But yeah. Wait, let me see how the covers look together. Because the first one was about Ganymede. Don't know if I'm saying that right. But it was basically all about, like, accepting growing old. And so I'm really excited to see if this book has a similar sentiment, because that is sort of, like, the overarching vibe of these 3 books. But maybe he'll just move on. They look, guys, they're so beautiful together. And then next year we're gonna have book 3. I'm so excited. Okay, but let me read. I haven't read. Wait, guys, he's doing huge stuff. It says the Senior Year Adventures book 2. So I guess that's okay. I guess that's what we're calling this, the Senior Year Adventures. Oh my god. Anyway, I haven't read the dust jacket thing. I guess I probably have, because Rick posted it on Instagram, but let me read it. Percy Jackson, a high school senior, just like me, needs 3 recommendation letters from the Greek gods in order to get into New Rome University. He earned his first one by retrieving Ganymede's chalice. Now the goddess Hecate has offered Percy another opportunity. All he has to do is pet sit her polecat, Gale, and hellhound Hecuba over Halloween week while she is away. Piece of cake, right? Percy, Annabeth, and Grover settle into Hecate's seemingly endless mansion and start getting acquainted with the fuzzy, terrifying animals. Fussy, not fuzzy. Animals. The trio has been warned not to touch anything, but while Percy and Annabeth are out at school, Grover can't resist drinking a strawberry-flavored potion in the laboratory. It turns him into a giant frenzied goat, and after he rampages through the house, damaging everything in sight, Gale and Hecuba escape. The 3 friends have to find Hecate's pets and somehow restore the house, all before Hecate gets back. It's going to take luck, demigod wiles, I don't know, and some old and new friends to hunt down the animals and set things right again. Sounds like Hazel. Anyway, Rick Riordan's newest Percy adventure is full of hilarious set pieces, a diverse cast of mythological creatures, and many other delightful tricks and treats. And it's almost Halloween. Ah! I'm so excited for this, guys. I'm so excited for this. My friend, I was gonna make a bingo card for this, but I worked 4 hours last night, so I was really not in the mindset to like be making a bingo card. But my friend, I'm pretty sure Sadie made it. I think it was Sadie. Made a bingo card, which I will be using throughout this video, so that's awesome. And I'm gonna read the like little dedication, because last year it was so cute because it was to Walker, Leah, and Arian. It's so excited. I'm gonna guess, what should I guess? Either to Becky or to like, it'll probably be to Becky. Maybe Mark Shira, that would be crazy. Or like to the new fans from the show, or like to someone, I don't know. Okay. Sorry, that was loud. It says, to our friends at 20th TV and Disney Plus, we couldn't imagine a crew better to sail with into the Sea of Monsters, because they're making Sea of Monsters right now in the show. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's so cool. Okay, anyway. There's 39 chapters. Anyway, I'm gonna read you all the chapter titles because I'm really excited about these. Obviously, this is like the pinnacle of Rick Riordan's books. So the first one is, I have an accident in the principal's office. That's classic. Grover gets heavily caffeinated. My girlfriend takes me to the graveyard. Turns out I am salmon flavored. We enter the laboratory of forbidden ice cream, raw chicken carcasses, and where to find them. I go dog skiing. Guess what? Beelzebub. These are crazy. The apocalypse smells like strawberries. I catch a nope. We have pizza and extra tears. I get schooled by an old friend. What does that mean? I get extra time and candy corn. We find some dead guys. I fail at dog diplomacy. Hellhounds at the disco. That's a Panic at the Disco reference. What? Grover gets grounded. I smell trouble. A new fragrance for men. Oops, I killed you again. We get dangerously fancy. Dangerously fancy. Grover leaves a 5-hoof review. Annabeth asks to see the manager. Stop. We find the lair of evil perfume. We have a nice, orderly free-for-all. There ain't no cure for the beast breath blues. Okay, there might be a cure. You're not gonna like it. We eat toothpaste. I make a bad plan. I get all the candy. We goo up for battle. We find some different dead guys. Passing the torch works out super well. We have a good old-fashioned witch burning. It's us, we're the witches. Me. That's so funny. We fight Hecate. We fight for Hecate and also dead fish. I am saved by my own doofusness. I skip the celebration. I play with purple fire. I accidentally liquefy my guidance counselor. I get my favorite dessert. Blue pancakes. Blue cupcakes, probably. Anyway. That's so cute. That's so cute. That's so cute. I'm gonna see if this book starts with the look I didn't want to be a half-blood sort of vibe. No. It starts with the line, October, best month ever, which is so true. Okay. I'm really excited to read this, but I do have a flute lesson in a bit, so I can't start right now. But I love Percy Jackson. I'm so excited that we have a new book. And I'm gonna go look at the bingo card and see what we think's going on there. So yeah. Okay, actually, you thought I was gone, but I'm back. They keep referencing that there's like an old friend coming back or something. And I'm really confused because it could be something as simple as like Mrs. O'Leary. But I feel like the way that they're hyping it up it's making it seem like it's bigger. My thought originally was Hazel. Like, I think Hazel's gonna be in here somewhere just because she has such a tie to Hecate, and like everything we know currently about Hecate in the books is a lot to do with Hazel, because that's like she was teaching Hazel and stuff in the House of Hades. So there's that, but like I don't think we consider Hazel an old friend. Maybe we do. I don't know. She's kind of a recent friend. But I'm like, if it's Nico, don't give me that. but like, I don't know, maybe like Thalia, whatever. I mean, the fact that they did just announce Talia's casting maybe ties into this book. I don't know. But I'm trying to think of like people that have a connection to Hecate, and it's like really no one but Hazel does. So yeah. Hold on. I've just noticed something interesting. Hold on. I just noticed on the back, it says a YALSA. I don't know what award thing or like what that stands for, but it's like a YALSA 2024 Best Fiction for Young Adults selection. Maybe this, I don't know if that really has anything to do with like the contents of the book, but maybe this one's a little more young adult than the other ones, even though I know Rick has always said that he will never write young adult. He only writes middle grade. I don't know guys, but yeah. I found the first typo. This is the funniest thing I've ever. It's so funny. Hello, so it's Thursday morning, but last night, Wednesday, I read a little bit, but I had a really busy night, so I didn't read that much, but I read a little bit before going to bed. But I'm gonna do crazy reading tonight because I don't have anything, so yeah. Okay, so here's the book. That's my bookmark as of right now, so I have that much left. I have like a little bit over 100 pages left, so yeah, but it's just so good. It's so good. I'm just reading it and I'm just like, this is so fun. Like, if you can see, the cover's like sliding off. Hold on. You can see like how much I've been tabbing it. Like, every single scene is just packed with humor and it's just so funny and fun, and I love Percy Jackson. So anyway, just to give a little recap of what I have just now read. They lost Gale and Hecuba, who are the two pets, the main pets that they're babysitting or pet sitting for Hecate. And so they lost both of them. And so first they found Hecuba, and basically, like, they tracked her down, and then they found this other little baby hellhound who they used to sort of, like, lure Hecuba in and be like, look, this can be your replacement. Because Hecuba, her whole myth is about, like, she was a mother, and then in the Trojan War, her kids all died, and then she, like, was so grief-stricken, and then she was turned into a dog. So kind of tough, but that's why she's like running away and she's so grieving, and then Percy like takes a moment to like just sit down and talk to her about it, and it's so sweet. I feel like last book there was a lot of like growing older was a big theme, and like dealing with like growing up was a big part of it, especially with like, you know, them going to college and everything. But this book so far, the thing that I've like sort of like connected to that like main overarching theme is like parenthood, kind of. Like the whole vibe with Hecuba is like her losing her kids and like trying to be a mother in a different way, in like a non-biological way. And like Percy sat down with Hecuba and was like talking about his experience growing up as an only child, and then his mom Sally is currently pregnant, like as this book is taking place, and him just like being like a little freaked out about like this new kid coming into the world and having to deal with like some of the things that he dealt with, even though it probably would not be as bad because obviously Estelle's not a demigod, but it's just like such a sweet sentiment. And there's been a lot of, well, not a lot, but it's happened at least like 1 or 2 times for both Percy and Annabeth at separate points, where Annabeth has like made a comment about like Percy would be such a good dad, and Percy has thought Annabeth would be such a good mom. It's so sweet. So there's that. And now currently the part I'm at is they're tracking down Gale, who there are these 4 Nereid sisters who were like the possible suspects for stealing Gale, and I literally clocked from the beginning when it was these Nereids and Percy was like, these feel familiar. I literally was like, it's literally the girlies from Cece's spa and resort, and they were. So there's that. There's been a lot of Sea of Monsters references, like all the way from like Grover's wedding dress, like him getting kidnapped, to like reminiscing on like Cece's spa and resort, to like talking about the empathy link and like stuff like that. Like the literal title Sea of Monsters has been in here like multiple times, which I think is tea, because obviously these books are like sort of promo. It's like, did the chicken or the egg come first, you know? Like, are these promo for the show? Is the show promo for these books? Do we know? I mean, like, they're both just kind of promoting the general world, but obviously like with season 2 coming out, this book's got a lot of that in there, which is fun. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the ghost child, which is like so weird, and like I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm really excited to see where it goes because it's giving like important. So there's that. But basically Percy keeps seeing an image of a ghost child on a bike outside of Hecate's manch, and so he's like, what's that about? And no one else sees it but him. And then he goes into the library of Hecate's place and he sees something, the glasses or something with the initial SEJ on them. And he's like, these are familiar. And it's like, it's feeling like at the point in the book, like right now, he connected what those initials were, but he's like, I can't think about that right now. And his mom was acting weird about Gramercy Park earlier in the book. That was like the first notable thing that I was like, what is this about? So knowing that his mom's name is Sally Jackson and the initials are SEJ, unless I'm being red herringed right now, I like, but there's like, I don't know why that would have any connection, because Sally was most certainly not alive in 1914. Let me tell you that. So I'm like, I don't even know, unless it's some like descendant or ancestor of Sally, because I know there's a lot of what's the word? I don't know, there's a lot of drama, I guess, in her family line about like her dad like died of cancer, I'm pretty sure, when she was like a senior in high school, and then like someone died in a plane crash. Like there's some, or like her parents died in a plane crash and then her like grandpa took her in and then he died of cancer or something like that, and then she was all alone. Yeah, it's something like that. And so I'm looking, what's SEJ? I just know Sally has some connection to this little place. So that's all for now. I ended at spooky. I ended at the chapter, okay, there might be a cure, but you're not gonna like it, because they're all currently in animal form. It's giving Frank. I'm also like, when's Hazel gonna show up? I'm feeling like she's not going to. Because, like, logistically, is she on the other side of the country? Yeah. But she could make it over. Who knows? But, yeah. Also, I don't know if I've updated this part yet, but I did get bingo yesterday, literally on page, like, 70. But I'm really close to... Like, the board is almost full. But there's a few that haven't been hit, like one of the 7 appearing. Blue Food, which I'm pretty sure is going to be there by the end. What else? Skater Boy Percy hasn't come up yet. Yeah, I don't remember what the other ones were, but there are a few that haven't been checked off yet. Also, I didn't mention this, but Chiron had a cameo, because one of the boxes was other notable character has a cameo, and Chiron was there. So I'm like it was actually so cute, because he was there as Mr. Brunner, and Percy looked at him and he called him Mr. Brunner, because, like, I don't know, he was just like, it was just like, he was just in Mr. Brunner form. So yeah, that was tea. But also, I know they have their Halloween party coming up, so I'm like, maybe there will be some exciting cameos within that. I don't know. I just thought about the possible fact that we could see Jason in this book, but I'm not letting that stick with me. No. If there's no way that Jason's in this book, but if by any way possible Jason's in this book, I'm gonna kill myself. Just like he did. No, I'm sorry. That was not. He bravely sacrificed himself. Rest in power. I also forgot to mention, guys, today, Mark Ashiro goes on Instagram and he confirms that there's going to be a sequel to The Sun and the Freaking Star. Like, I'm actually, like, constantly gagged by the fact that after Tower of Nero, Rick was like, guys, I'm gonna be putting down the pen for a while. I'm done with the Percy Jackson universe for a bit. You know, I'm gonna be taking a break. No more big series, guys. Like, nothing more. It's, like, just standalones from now on. Suddenly he's writing a trilogy of new Percy Jackson books. Suddenly he's got a duology of Nico and Will books. I'm like, brother, like, I'm not complaining. Like, please give me more. I just had to put that in this video because I found out earlier and I was genuinely crying because I was like, The Sun and the Star, genuinely one of the best books I've ever read. It's one of my 5-star ratings. Like, I love that book. So a sequel is gonna be crazy. So yeah, I don't even know when that's coming out. Apparently they've already been working on it. So I don't know. But yeah, that was really exciting news for today. Because he's doing like a virtual book tour right now. So there is some tea being spilled, and he hasn't announced the name of the 3rd book in this little trilogy. Because I remember last year is when, on the book tours, when he confirmed, not even confirmed, it's when he even, like, introduced the fact that this was going to be more than just Chalice of the Gods. And he released the name, The Wrath of the Triple Goddess, but he hasn't released the name of the last book yet. And so, I don't know if any of you listen to the podcast Seaweed Brain, but they have a big theory that at some point Rick's gonna do a Riordanverse of Madness type book where everything comes together. And so I'm like, I can't help but think, like, maybe that's why he's keeping a secret. There's no actual way, but that would be really funny. But The Sun of the Star 2 is gonna be, like, don't even. Just vote. Just vote. Okay. Okay, hello. So I want to give some brief final thoughts on where to go. Oh, it's already over there. Whatever. Okay, I guess I'll get it. Fine, if you insist, guys. The Wrath of the Triple Goddess, obviously. So I have it all tabbed up. So cute. But I don't have too much to say about this book. It wasn't very lore heavy, so there's not too much to like tie together or whatever. I will say I really did enjoy this book. I obviously like love reading about this world and getting more insight into it. I do think I like the Chalice of the Gods better, and I think this book is partially paralleling the Sea of Monsters, which is interesting, which I don't know if that's intentional or not, but the Sea of Monsters is my least favorite book in the Percy Jackson series, but it's just because it's sort of like not a lot happens. Not that it's like filler, but it's like not super important, and that's how I sort of feel about this book. But like I still loved reading it and everything. I like there's so many fun moments. But the thing with this book and the Sea of Monsters is that it sort of feels like a collection of like fun moments rather than really diving into a specific like theme. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I think in this book there were really great moments with like Sally almost becoming a witch, and like I thought that was really interesting, but like we really didn't get to see a lot of that. We talked about it like once and then it sort of went away, even though I feel like that was a pretty big thing that it was leading up to, but it was never really delivered fully. And then there's the whole sort of theme of like being protective, almost like motherhood sort of aspect of like both of like Hecuba especially being like a mother who lost her children, and then like the three of them, the trio, they take in the little hellhound puppy Nope, and like all of this stuff, this idea of like protecting each other. And I feel like Rick, I feel like Rick could have tied that in together more in the end. Because I feel like the Chalice of the Gods did such a great job with like having the theme of trying to deal with like growing older and like growing up and going away from, you know, like your parents, like moving away from home and having to, especially in like a demigod's life, dealing with like death and stuff like that. And that was like such a vivid, like clear theme that was portrayed, especially through like literally the god of old age happening and like the whole fight with that, and then in the end Percy embracing him, like that kind of thing didn't really happen in this book at all. It was sort of just, I don't know, like a collection of moments. So not my favorite, but like another one please, another one, thank you, you know what I mean? So yeah. And I guess, okay, let me talk about a few moments I really liked. Okay, one thing I will say is Grover had a moment in this book that I swear to God he had the exact same thing happen in the Chalice of the Gods, which is him being like, I don't want you guys to move to Los Angeles. Which I swear happened exactly the same in the Chalice of the Gods. Like, I thought we had already like gotten over that, but I guess not. Percy said literally the same thing again, which is just like, we'll always need you, buddy. We'll never fully be away from you. I feel like family was a big theme of this book, and I feel like they could have honed in on that more. Like, I feel like Sally could have been there for more of it. I feel like I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm also so pissed that Hazel didn't show up. Part of me is like, you know, Rick's maintaining some dignity for the series. Like, it's not like, not every book can have a huge crossover thing happening, and I respect that. But how is Hazel not in the book about Hecate? Especially when they say it's gonna take luck, demigod wiles, and some old and new friends to hunt down the animals. Who was the old friends? Not Hazel, apparently, but whatever. Yeah. Okay, the thing I wanted to talk about. Wait, there was a few things. First of all, okay, I basically want to talk a lot about Annabeth because most of the stuff I took away from this book was very much about Annabeth. Because I love Annabeth. So first of all, I have a big thing to talk about with Annabeth and then a smaller thing. I'll talk about the smaller thing first because it'll take me less time. There was a singular moment, like a page or two of dialogue between Annabeth and Percy when she was talking about how he is such an empath, especially with like talking about Hecuba. And like how he like when they like or I don't remember if it's Hecuba or Gale, one of them, they like touched the animal and then they had like a vision of the animal's past, and like Percy like started sobbing and like had this whole moment of like really just feeling for Hecuba, learning about her whole thing, and then like going and sitting with her on the, I think it was like the beach. I don't think it was a beach. I don't know. I imagined a beach. I don't know if it was actually one. But like sitting in like where Troy used to be, where her children died in the battle in like the Trojan War. And just like looking out onto the ocean that she must have looked at 1,000 times. And like all of this beautiful imagery and stuff. Like that was one of my favorite parts of the book, honestly. And I wish they honed in on that more because it was so good. But him just like literally like looking out at this landscape and like feeling and like thinking about exactly what Hecuba went through and feeling that moment. And then Annabeth, like a few chapters later, honestly, Annabeth talks to Percy about it and is like that happened, like I saw it too, but when I saw it I was literally just looking at like the buildings and the architecture, and like she was just talking about how she wasn't like an empath in the way that Percy was and how bad that made her feel, how like she saw this like horrible memory of Hecuba's and she wasn't even worried about like what happened to Hecuba. She was more just focused on the landscape. And Percy, I don't know, I don't remember how he responded, but it was something really, really beautiful. And he was just being like, that's just not what we need, you know? Like, we need someone, like, you were seeing what you needed to see. Because, like, all of us can be empathetic, but you're the only one with the brains to, like, analyze it in the way that you do. So, like, sometimes, yeah, Annabeth's not the most emotional, empathic person, but it's like they don't need that. They have empaths on the team. Percy and Grover are empathetic enough. They don't need that. And like what Annabeth brings to the team. And I thought that was such a beautiful thing to see, like, because like I feel like in this and Chalice of the Gods there's very much the idea that like they've sort of figured it out at this point. Like in the beginning books there was a lot of angst. These ones aren't as angsty because, you know, they know that they have each other. They know it'll probably work out. And if not, they'll go out together and that kind of thing. But I think that was, like, a perfect moment of, like, Annabeth still working through things, obviously, as she gets older. So that was that. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, which was, like, major, is just generally, like, the writing of Annabeth in this book and Chalice of the Gods, which I didn't even really like consciously realize in Chalice of the Gods, but I did when I was reading this, especially in the beginning when Percy shows up to the library and Annabeth's like with her two friends and they're like laughing at Annabeth's joke, and then she like is explaining to him her big idea for the project, and her two friends are like, one of them is like not so sure about Percy because she's like, you're not good enough for Annabeth, and the other one's just like, they just love Annabeth. Basically, the point I'm getting at is these books just write Annabeth as, like, such a real person. And I honestly don't know whether to credit this to, like, Rick's growth as an author, which I would be happy to do, because I think there is a very real possibility that in the first 5 books, Rick probably wasn't thinking as much about, like, Annabeth's perspective as, you know, the girl in the book. Like, she was sort of not one-dimensional, but like I guess she was written as a really interesting character in that she was like a fighter. She had to fight for everything that she got, like all of this stuff. She had to earn it in a way that a lot of the men didn't have to. And that was always really interesting. But in these books, she's like, I don't know, she's characterized as like a funny person. Like, Percy's like the funny one, but Annabeth can also be funny and be like the joy in the room. Like, she's really like just like a joy to be around, which I don't think she was really written that way in the original books. Just because, like, I guess like Rick wasn't really as much worried about like making her a real person. It was more of like, how can she as a character serve Percy's character arc, which I think is really interesting. But there's also the like perspective that like in the first 5 books Percy was like 12 to 16 years old and was dumb, so he's not gonna be looking at Annabeth and being like, ugh, look at her, like she's so funny and smart. He was more so like, oh, she's scary. But now he's obviously older and they're dating, and so he's much more observant about her in a much more like graceful way, I guess. But then there's also the aspect of like Annabeth, like I always think about like in Chalice of the Gods, Annabeth just like loving tea. For some reason I just think about that a lot, of like she's just such a cool person and she likes tea and she goes to School of Design in New York and she's like got this whole thing going on for her, which I guess comes along with her growing up. So like even though like Percy was writing from sort of a not closed-minded, but like oblivious point of view in the first 5 books, she was also like 12 years old and didn't really know who she was yet and wasn't really figured out. Like, she didn't really have a life outside of camp. And I guess that's the root of what I'm trying to say. She has like a whole life now, and that's so fun to read about. And like, again, I already talked about this, but like Percy describing her taking care of Nope and being like, oh, she's so like motherly, and like, that's awesome. So yeah, it's really awesome. Yeah, I think there was a lot of Sea of Monsters references in this book, which was certainly not coincidental. But yeah, that's basically what I have to say about this book. I'd probably give it, I haven't rated it yet, but I'd probably give it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like, I gotta be kind of harsh, because like I want to give it like a 4 or 4.5, but objectively it was definitely like the middle book, you know what I mean? And that's okay. We love a middle book. We need a middle book. But yeah, I wish there had just been more of like a strong emotional theme to it. But yeah, that's all I have to say.